So, welcome to part 2 of my big adventure in Germany 2025. So, continue on from where part 1 left off. After doing 36 hours of almost non-stop train riding, I felt very, very ill when I got to Berlin. Basically, the trains are so good in Germany, they are addictive. And once you start riding them, you can't stop, especially when you access to the whole country with the Deutschland ticket. But anyway, after paying to stay in a hostel for a night to give myself a chance to recover, the next day, let's go and explore Berlin. And let's start off with this epic old Otis lift.
What, in the middle of Berlin? No way! How have they kept... Must have new logic. I was not expecting as well nice lift. Whoa! Good exit on this. 3 doors.
Okay, no.
So along I go to a random building in Berlin and along to these lifts, which have a touch screen. Not as a destination dispatch, but just as some regular lift controls inside the lift.
7, no. 6. What's this thing? Fucking hell. 4. Ah, we can go for 4. Okay. That's something new. So I've not seen before. Fucking weird thing. Look at that. Slow axle.
Vierte Etage.
Weird capacitive buttons. Fucking weird, this thing. Can I go to parking? Oh, I can. Strangers, I don't get why they've done it like that. You almost have that button, that's not going to change, that's always going to be on this. That's just going to get screen burned from that.
So it's now daytime, so let's now go back to the Hauptbahnhof and take a look at some of the weird tourist shops, like the traffic light shop. That is so weird. Now I'd like to buy an actual traffic light because I'm a traffic light collector and they've actually got some real traffic lights in here, but sadly those are not for sale. Those are just decoration because this shop sells basically his traffic light themed hat, which is just a bit weird. And all of the shops here are very overpriced.
Then you've got the buyer market. Don't even take a look at the prices in there. At Hauptbahnhof main train station, expensive prices anyway. For it to be organic, only, don't even think about the prices in that shop.
Let's take a look at a lift.
Let's go up to Angermünde. Wow, door doesn't close. Come on, I'm in a hurry. Close. Good. Hydraulic, it's a long charge time. This lift's a bit shit. See, it's in half floor arrangement. Oh, that's good levelling hydraulic. Don't think it's a hydraulic, I didn't feel that one.
So, on the Deutschland ticket, usually you're not allowed to use IC or ICE trains. But there's a couple of exceptions, such as the IC train I went on earlier on. But there's 2 trains a day, which are the German high-speed ICE train. And you're actually allowed to use for free. So that's an opportunity I just couldn't resist.
There we go. IC train is valid to Breslau with local ticket, and that actually includes Deutschland ticket as well. There you go, there's an opportunity, I can't turn that one down. Wow, look at that.
So let's take a listen to the motor sound. Now this was not running on a high speed route and it only went 80 miles an hour. So I ride the IC train along to Angermünde. So, do you feel angry on a Monday? Well, this is the place to be. And it was actually Monday when I visited this place, so oh dear.
So, welcome to Angermünde. Do you feel angry on a Monday? Well, it's Monday today.
And along to this old railway water has been converted into a residential place, and it's got an external lift. Sadly, I was not able to take a ride in this lift.
Shame I can't get in this, but that is nice. Look at external lift, old water tower converted into flats. I assume there must be staircase inside as well. Look at external lift on that. That's not a key I've got, I don't think. Yeah, that's not a key I've got. Shame, 'cause that looks so nice. Interesting, but oh.
And the residents here, let's just say, it's Angermünde on a Monday. They were quite angry at me trying to get in. So let's continue to take a look around this town. And there's not really much here, but there is this nice view of the lake.
So, here is the river down at Angermünde. Right, it's very countryside here. And with that said, I think I need to get back into Berlin now and get back into the city.
Oh, look at this convenient freight train that is pulled up for me to surf. I did try to surf it, but the German people waiting on the platform were staring at me in a very vigilante way, so I had to get back off. Like, that's the fucking problem with Germany. Anyway, back along to Berlin. So let's now go and sneak into the active Berlin U-Bahn metro tunnels. So after staying another night in a hostel, the next day I'll go to a shopping centre in Alexanderplatz.
And on the second floor, it's always on 2, so that thing is just decoration, doesn't do a thing. Up. I think we're going down, so that's fucked up. There he goes, blank. Its display doesn't work at all.
Information zu RE1 nach Magdeburg Hauptbahnhof über Rennes Hauptbahnhof Abfahrt
So, time to leave Berlin and head to the next city, which is Magdeburg.
So along to Magdeburg. And let's take a look at the shopping centre. And now I go along to a posh hotel. And they've got this bit of artwork on one of the buildings, which looks like urban explorers climbing up the building. I actually really like it. There's also some trams in Magdeburg, and I took a ride on one of these trams, but to be honest, it wasn't very good. So along to the next shopping centre, which has got ThyssenKrupp lifts.
Crappy! Oh, I pushed that really hard, it went open. Level's nice. Level's really quick actually. Level's well quick.
And along to a little office building, which has got a ThyssenKrupp lift.
There we go. Oh, straight back up. No JU mode in this one.
So now along to the next city, which is Hanover. So the question is, do I have a hangover in Hanover? Well, the answer to that is yes. But not from drinking alcohol, because I don't drink that shit, but from doing so much train riding, because I've now done a week in Germany dedicated to riding the trains and riding a few lifts as well. So this is a very obsessive trip. In fact, I actually did this for 9 days. Anyway, in Hanover it was raining, which makes it a bit miserable to explore. But let's still go and explore it, and let's start off by going along to the Galleria department store.
Okay, well I guess I had to link people to go inside. Nice. Nice set. Why do I do it all individual set? I've actually got a light to light up when it's out of service. That's weird. I have to etch it out just to light up when it's out of service. That is not normal. Let's go up to floor D. Yeah, it's locked. 4. Oh, it's a Thyssen. Same display as ALS used in the UK, and also Stanner also used that display. Now quick. That's like a Harrod-sized teddy. Now I wonder if department stores in Germany will go the same way as the ones in England have, because in England department stores are going extinct. In Germany they still seem to exist. Maybe Germans just love department stores. Maybe people in Germany don't like online, so there's less people buying online and people actually choose deliberately to go to the department store because they want to support it maybe. I don't know, because they seem to still be doing fairly well. It is a bit empty though for a weekday. So here we've got a bog standard looking car park, but inside this car park is an old fashioned style misted glass lift shaft, which you'd usually get in like an old style, old fashioned building. Not in a car park. That's very weird. Let's take a look.
So this car park has got this very old looking lift shaft with misted glass. Something you'd see in quite an old building. It's just so bizarre that it's in a car park.
This is an old shaft. This car park, the shaft looks below the lift. It's not as old as the shaft, but this is weird. How strange is that? You can see if a hole It's in an old shaft.
So, while the lift's been replaced inside the lift, it doesn't look anything special. If we take a look in the lift shaft, you can see it's got its classic old style lift shaft. Now, if I just saw this, I would not think this was in a car park.
It's drug dealers upstairs. So obviously, I need to check our cameras. Fucking hell, I didn't think it'd be blatant drug dealers in Hanover in the car park, but whatever.
And along to a lift that's been modernised by Schindler.
It's slow really for your lift, it's a mod of an old lift. Oh, I should have known it's one of that type, the belts in the middle. Schindler loves those in Germany for their mods. It's not a Euro lift, it's a mod of an older lift. Euro-y lifty moddy thingy. That's a good name for it. That is very weird, but I think it's really fun at the same time. They're in Cologne as well. Well, at least this version, unlike the Tunisia version, has all its windows intact. You remember what the Tunisia version's like? About half the windows are all broken. That shows you the difference. The same train, but it's run so differently depending on what country it's in.
Linie 13, Hemmingen.
They put wrap on the tram to make it look smashed up when it's not smashed up. I've never seen anything like that. Why do you have a tram in great condition, unlike in Tunisia, but then they go and put wrap on it? Maybe they got jealous that Tunisia's trams were in bad condition. Maybe they wanted to make their trams look like Tunisian ones, so they put that on it. I have no idea.
So now along to the next city, which is Dortmund. So after spending another night in a hostel the next day, let's go and explore the city.
What the fuck is that about? I didn't expect to see that. Wow. I'm guessing you're something inappropriate from the past in that building and they're renovating to get rid of it, maybe? I'm not sure, I'm not understanding it. I wonder what that is that I need to renovate it to get rid of a certain thing from the past. I have to look it up.
And along into the Galleria shopping centre.
Erstes Obergeschoss, Ladenstraße.
Now that is leaning outwards, that's not vertical. That's a sideways lift leaning outwards. That's leaning outwards. Look at a cab, that's leaning. Incline lift. That is so typical Otis. They build something clever and it doesn't work because it's so fucking unreliable. It's just typical. Every time they build a lift kind of like that, where it's something a bit like that. And there's so many examples. There's also one at a Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth that was cone, but it was a similar setup. And that also never worked. Like, I like clever lifts, but what's the point of building a clever lift if it's not going to actually work?
So, after a quick stop at Dortmund University to take a ride on the Dangle train, I now go along to the next city, which is Herne. Surprisingly, this actually has a full segregated, dedicated metro system. Considering that the rest of the surrounding areas all just have stadtbahns or metro trams, is this weird that this relatively small town has a more segregated metro compared to the likes of Düsseldorf? Although this is actually classed as a stadtbahn, but I didn't see it interfacing with traffic anywhere, so I'd count this as a full U-Bahn. So, into Herne, and this is what the city looks like. Considering I live in Kent, where there's a place called Herne Bay, which is a seaside place which is a bit run down and there's not really that much there, will Herne in Germany be better than Herne Bay in England? Well, let's take a look at the shopping centre.
What's this? That's old. Oh, Herne has its own lift company, Alexander Herne. What, it's a tiny place. This place is a bit rough, but, well, not different to Herne in England, I guess. Herne Bay is quite rough. Ooh. Let's have a look. Oh, I changed buttons inside. That's disappointing. Fucking hell, bumpy. Little hydro-y thing. Why is it E, then 1, then 0? It makes no sense. That's a very weird floor numbering. And there's an eco disc, which you've seen millions of. Let's go to the U-Bahn. Funicular. Going down. Oh, someone's pissed in the funicular. Fucking hell, it stinks in here. It's a diagonal toilet. Fucking hell. This funicular needs a bit of maintenance. That thing's not too bad.
So, the answer to the question is yes. Herne is much better than Herne Bay, which I knew it would be straight away because fucking hell, imagine Herne Bay having a metro. That would never happen. So Herne obviously wins. In fact, Herne Bay in England has nothing. The only attraction is a collapsed pier that fell into the sea a long time ago. So now along to Düsseldorf Airport.
So, the last 3 nights I've stayed in a hostel. Bloody hell, this has turned into a bit of an expensive trip. I'm trying to avoid paying out for hostels, even though it's only £15 a night. Well, one time I actually got £11 a night, which is cheap, but I'm trying to do it super cheap. So, it's night hammocking. Let's hope I don't get rained out my hammock. I'm taking a risk. I'm at Düsseldorf Flughafen, Düsseldorf Airport. So it does start raining, I can dash into the airport. It's only about 300 metres away. You can hear an airplane about to take off. Oh, there it goes. There goes the airplane, but they're going to stop very soon, so I'll be able to sleep with those going past. There are a few signs that other people have camped here, probably people waiting for a plane in the morning or something, but there's no one about. The sun's about to go down in a few minutes time, and then the morning airplanes at 5:20 will wake me up in the morning to go off and do more trains. It will be my 8th day tomorrow of riding trains. I am obsessed. Like, this is an obsessive trip. Like, who goes to Germany camping just to get things as cheap as possible, just so you can come down doing trains non-stop for 9 days? That's how much I like German trains, but I have made myself ill doing it, so I have not done well this trip, because I try and not let my hobbies make me ill, but the trains are so good here. I missed a night's sleep, I haven't eaten properly, I've got a cold, which is... I need to not do trips quite this obsessive in future, because I have made myself ill riding trains. That's how addictive German trains are. Anyway, let's now go to sleep before it gets fully dark.
The next day, along to Duisburg. They've got this very large empty space above a train station, which actually looks quite old-fashioned, and along to the shopping centres. The first shopping centre has some glass ThyssenKrupp lifts.
Erstes Obergeschoss. Erstes Untergeschoss.
And the second shopping centre is very posh and very modern, and it's got some nice eco discs.
So you could have a white eco disc, or you could have a green one, or you could have a white one. Which colour do you prefer? Parking. A nice shopping centre. I didn't think Duisburg would have something this nice.
And now I go to the next city of Cologne.
Fucking hell, there's a lot of tourists at this thing. Like Buckingham Palace Germany edition, well, Cologne Cathedral. All the tourists want to go to the tourist attraction.
And then I get ripped off in one of Germany's typical overpriced supermarkets. I decided to buy this nice looking bar of 100% chocolate and orange, only to discover it's only 50 grams. These bars are meant to be 100 grams, so inside half of it was just packaging. That is a scam. This is why in Germany you should avoid all supermarkets apart from Aldi, Lidl, Netto and Penny, because those are the only ones that are actually a decent price. Everything else is fucking expensive. So now I go along to Düren, a very small place where they've got a little rail bus train. So going into the deep countryside, I decided this would be a good place to camp for the night.
So I was going to camp here, but then look at the signs. You've got Nature Protect Zone, which means no camping with a tent. But does it mean no hammock camping? Oh, it's a grey area, but whatever, I don't care. But it's the second sign I'm more worried about. Stop radiation. Now that's fucking hell. That's, no, not doing. Let's go somewhere else.
The next day, let's take a look at an abandoned train tunnel, which considering I usually go in active train tunnels, abandoned ones are a bit not really up to my standard, but it's still interesting enough to take a look.
Not really my thing, abandoned tunnels, because, well, it's better if trains going past. This is in a little tiny abandoned tunnel in Germany. There's an alcove. There's another alcove. Don't need to worry about dashing to alcoves because the train's not going to come. There you go, a little tunnel. People come in here to have fires. People also in here, I guess, there's a local hangout spot because what else is there to do in a little shitty village in Germany? Fuck all. Probably the only place where you can't be seen by a vigilante, once you're in a tunnel. Because what German villages are like, everyone watches everyone. A burnt out seat. There's not much here. The sleepers are metal. Why has it got metal sleepers? That's weird. But here is the other end of this very short tunnel.
And along to the final city of this adventure, which is Aachen. Let's take a look around the city and see what lifts I'll find.
Erstes Obergeschoss. First floor.
So that concludes my big adventure in Germany 2025.